what it takes to set up Photoshop to be productive. In this video, I will show you how to set up your Photoshop to be productive. So I will cover things like the workspace, the panels you want to use, and a really crucial part in my work in Photoshop is to work with tool presets. So let's get started and see how you can work faster in Photoshop. Okay, now I'm here in Photoshop and I want to set up everything the right way for me, and I will start with the start screen. So in the beginning, I will go to the Photoshop preferences. Here in the Mac, it's under the Photoshop menu. In Windows, you have to go in the edit menu. And here in the general, you have to set up some settings, or in the preferences. Under general, I use the legacy new dialog or new document interface. This is because I'm an old guy. No, I work a long time with Photoshop and I really like the old interface, the legacy new document interface. Then I go to the interface tab, and here I can leave everything as it is, so that's okay. And on the workspace, I also can leave everything as it is, that's okay. But here on the tools, there are some options I would definitely recommend that you will activate. First of all, the overscroll. Overscrolling means that you can zoom in and push your images around even if you're zoomed out, and that's really good when you're working with the Wacom tablet. The animated zoom is something I would recommend to deselect. That's not so good. And that's everything right here. Then I will go to the history log, that's okay. File handling is also okay. Save in background, that's fine. And then I will go through and I will go to the history states. Here you can put up the history states around 80. But if you work with layers and with masks, you don't need so much history state. Then scratch disk is okay. And a really important one is the cursors tab, because here you can set up the size of a cursor. And normally the brush tip is so that it's till 50% of opacity, but that's really unprecise. So I definitely prefer to work with the full size brush tip. And here you see that the brush tip now goes till 0% opacity and not to the 50% mark. And so you really see where your drawing gets done. Okay, and the rest should be okay. So I press OK. And now I will go to the new dialog. And the new dialog is now the old dialog, and I really prefer this one. And here dial in, let's see, 3000 by 3000 pixels and pixel per inch, 300. Everything is okay. And now I will save this as a new preset. And the name is okay. And I click on OK. So here's my new document, and now I can start to dial in all the settings regarding to the workspace. Because this, what we see here, is the workspace of Photoshop, and there you can set up a few things. First of all, I will set up the workspace, so the panels. The idea behind the panels is that I want to have on the right side the panels big with the really important panels, and on the left side, or left to the big panels, there are all the panels I don't need that often. So let's start to rearrange everything. So layers, most important, right on the bottom. Then I put the channels in the second row here, and also the path goes to the channels. Then these three properties, adjustments and libraries go here as well. So I put them in here. The color swatches, or the color, not the color swatches, will go up here. Then the swatches to the colors. The patterns I don't need, so I close it, and the gradients exactly the same. So now we have space to fill it with other stuff. And you go to the window menu, and here a really important step are the tool presets. And the tool presets live in my Photoshop installation here on the top right. And here you see the current tools, that's the default tools. We will change the tool presets in a bit. So what's also very important is that you can rearrange the tools on the left. And you have here these three dots, and when you click on it and hold the mouse, you can edit the toolbar. And in general it's like this. The left side is the tools here, and in the right side you have the extra tools, the tools you don't need that often. And so I drag and drop the tools over that I don't need that often. So like this, the frame tool away, 3D eyedropper away, node tool, yeah, this could stay over here. The content aware, the red eye tool away, don't need this very often. Pencil tool away, color replacement tool away, mixer brush, the mixer brush can stay over here. Pattern stamp, never used it before. History brush and art history brush, both of them can go away. Background eraser, magic eraser tool. Tools I really never use, so they can go away. The paint bucket tool and the 3D material tool, these are okay. At the pen tool, you can access the tools via shortcut, but I leave them in the group. Vertical type mask tool and horizontal type mask tool. You don't need this. 2 tools, and yeah, so I think it's okay. Now you can also go in and rearrange them a little bit. So if you, for example, need, let's say here, the spot healing brush and the healing brush more often, then you can go and put them on a own spot, or you can group them together, but I will put them to have their own spot over there. Brush tool, okay. Blur tool here, the smudge tool, it's really good to have this around if you're working with layer masks, and so it's okay. Now I will save this preset, and I save it under my shortcut MD and press on done. To the workspace, now I can save the workspace as well. So I go to to window, workspace, and here you see I have rearranged the essentials workspace, but I want to have a new workspace. So I click on new, and let's say that's the MD workspace, and I want to save the toolbar as well, and I click on save. And now I have the option to go in and switch the workspace, let's say to photography. So that's what Adobe thinks is a good photography workspace. But I can also go in and go to my MD workspace. And now I have the workspace correctly set it up, so I can work with it. Okay, and now let's come to the tool presets. First of all, why do you need tool presets overall? So I create a new layer over there and go to the brush, so brush tool over here. The tools are a really nice thing if you want to work fast, because when I'm here with the brush tool and I start brushing around and working around, then I have to go in and right click and change the size. I can also do it via shortcut. That's here on the Mac, control option right and left, so left click and right and left motion on the mouse, or up and down for the hardness, left and right for the size, up and down for the hardness. And I have always, or I have to look if the settings here are right. So if I changed the opacity before and I want to reset the opacity, for example, to 100%, I always have to go up to the option bar. So I can go to the numbers, so 3 for 30%, 0 for 100%. But if I go to, let's say, some other more strange settings, I always have to reset them manually. So I have to go in and say, okay, I want normal, I want the flow of 100% and the smoothness back down somewhere here. And that's really, really time consuming. But you can save this as a tool preset. And I have my tool presets for you, and you can download them in the description below. The link will be in the comments as well. And where you can set up the tool presets is over here in the edit menu. Then you go to presets and to the preset manager. And inside the preset manager, you can choose the preset type from contours to tools. And here you select the first one and select the last one. And then you can delete all of them if you don't need them, of course. But the default tools are not that good, I would say. So, and then you can click on load and go to the desktop, because I have downloaded them to the desktop, and choose open. And then you get this warning message if you want to load that preset as a brush preset or load as tools. and I say don't show again, I want to load them as tools. And if I click on it, then you see you have all of my presets, and yes, these are German names, you can rename them if you want, but it's really intuitive to work with them. So the numbering. Everything starts with 071, so that's my bread and butter brush if you want. It's a brush, so B, the diameter is 40 pixels, die Härte, the hardness is 000, so it's a really soft brush, and true is gleich Deck. That means that the pressure on the pen is the opacity. So if I really gentle press, I have a light opacity, and when I start to press down on my stylus pen from my Wacom tablet, then I have more opacity. And that's a really good thing. The second brush over here has 50% of softness or hardness, so I have a hard edge, not so soft as the first brush. And the third one has a hardness of 100, so this is a really hard brush. And if you change tools, for example, you go to the eraser, then here everything is the same. So eraser, diameter of 40 pixels, the hardness is 000, so a soft edge, and the pressure, the Druck, is the opacity, the Deckkraft. And so I can go in and erase everything if I want to. And so I can go through every tool, and every tool that's useful has its own presets, and then you can start working really fast with all of the tools. As mentioned before, I have the German words because I'm German speaking. So if you have a question what some of these tools are doing, just write down in the comments. So if you don't know what Härte means, that's hardness, or if you want to know what's grau, it's gray, and if you want to know what which brush does, then just go and type inside the comments, then I can show it to you or just answer it. If there are really a lot of questions what my tools are doing, I can also do a comprehensive guide where I show you what each and every tool preset is doing and what's the mind behind the tools and when I use which tool. So just let me know in the comments. So if you have the big tool tips, you can also change them back to the old tool tips. That's also in the preferences, and I have to search for it. Currently I'm not 100% sure where you can change them back, but I think it was under the tools. Yeah, that's the show rich tooltips. So if you uncheck this mark, you have the small tooltips. So I would definitely recommend to set it up like this. Okay, so if you like this video, give me a like. And as mentioned before, if you have any questions, just write in the comments. This is everything I will set up to work fast with Photoshop. I have my workspace with the most important tools on the right, or with the panels on the right. The tools on the left are arranged in a way that I can reach them quite fast. That's really important. And overall my tool presets so that you can work really fast. And the link, as mentioned before, is here or also in the comments and in the description of this video. So I will see you in the next video.